Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 9th. It's 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick. Then we'll get started with our session for this morning. So just a few more things here to set up. We should be good to go. All right. It's good for the most part. This link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, link is sent out. Looks like we're good to go. Link's good to go. All right, so as people are on their way in the room, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the liquidity here on the 10-minute. All right, I think this should be good. All right, 10-minute liquidity areas look good. Pretty much solid right there. No liquidity coming up anytime soon. Go here and mark it up on the 1 minute now. See. $30, and I think we're good. Yeah, I don't think price can really go too far, so I'll probably go up to the hour, and that's about it. All right, looks good. So there goes liquidity there on the 1 minute. Let's see who's here. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 9th. It's 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So we have some time. I've marked up the liquidity here on the 10 minute and the 1 minute, so it looks pretty good to go. Other than that, let's see who's here. Looks like half you guys are in the room already. So good morning, Maria. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, David. Nice, nice. Yeah, David said, good morning, Sean. Thank you. I'm waiting for FTMO payout to hit my bank account. Awesome. Morning, Purity. Morning, Fahad. Morning, Sisuk. Morning, Al. Morning, Marco. Morning, Surin. Morning, Eduardo. Morning, Alexander. Morning, Mace. Morning, Ruin. Morning, Rashida. B said got screwed on that CAD CHF and CAD JPY intraday entry last night. Unlucky. Morning, Tody. Randy said my Zoom is glitched out. Does anyone have a fix for this? Can't see or hear anything. Eduardo said there was an update. You should close it and restart it. Yeah, Peter said the same thing. And morning, David. All right, so that should be able to fix it, hopefully, Randy. B, yeah, I know we talked about CAD CHF yesterday. I don't know if that was that one that I would have taken. I don't think so. Let me see. I remember we covered it and I said something about it, but I said I wasn't going to take it myself. I don't think the so you were in CAD CHF, you're also in CAD JPY. So I don't even see it over here. CAD CHF, I think you're in a buy position. Let me see if I can just pull it up really quick. I know there's a UJ right here. It's pending. Oh yeah, this one right here. So this is the one that we marked up. I forgot like why I said I wasn't going to take it. I would just probably stick to, so I know this has like all the pairs here, but I would probably just stick to like, I don't know if the MyFX book is like really accurate at all. I'd probably just stick to the assets on this list right here, like the major pairs or the minor pairs that are still similar to the major pairs. You said you were in CAD JPY too. Let me check if I can find that. Because I know we were trying to find other pairs here, but I've never used this before, so I don't know. So here's the thing about this right here. Like, I don't know how accurate this is because here, let's see, CAD CHF. Or that was CAD CHF, CAD JPY. I don't know if there was like CAD news yesterday. Was there CAD news? There probably was. And that was probably what affected the market. Right, so Thursday over here. Oh, this CAD news at 7. Yeah, I don't know. Go back over there real quick. So CAD CHF as well. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like the basically the CAD kind of just went down altogether. Let me see if USD CAD also, because I know USD CAD had a bias as well for a sell. So there's no CAD entry. I mean, the USD CAD, this would have hit full TP, but there's no other, it looks like just the CAD in general went the opposite direction for the most part. But I mean, if you took the CAD entry here, or, well, it looks like this one probably wouldn't have hit either. But there was news at this time. So you can see there was oil news. We discussed this during the mentoring session yesterday. I mean, you still have to take news into consideration. So I don't know. I'll have to like go back and take a look at that. The market's gonna open right now, so we'll take a look at that later. Anyways, looking over here at retail sentiment, it's currently 53% long. Fundamentals are currently bearish. So we're probably going to be looking for some sells today. We'll see the market is now open right here. So in order for us to take a in order for us to take a breakout entry here, we do have a bearish momentum here. So we're looking for a strong bearish candle to confirm the entry. So it's basically what we're looking at right here. All right. So we're looking for a strong red candle here, basically to enter this. Yeah, B, I just saw your message. I know you're just really unlucky with that entry. That's unfortunate. I remember we did take a look at it during the mentoring session, but unfortunately, it just didn't play out in your favor. Let me check the news real quick. If we have time later, we'll go back and look it over again. But yeah, it sucks that that happened. I'd probably just stick to the ones here on the daily FX because these are the ones that I can see to be very accurate. I'm going to take this off my FX book because this doesn't seem very accurate at all. Anyways, looking over here at the breakout, if this closes here, this is going to be the breakout entry. One thing that you want to keep in mind is if this candle is pretty huge, so you might want to wait for it to pull back a little bit before making entry. This is going to be one of the red flags here, as we discussed prior, or we've discussed daily, basically. If the candle's too big, you definitely want to wait a little bit. If this wick here closes with a huge wick, this is not going to be an entry because it's not a strong red candle. All right, so there's no entry there yet. We're waiting for it to close again as a strong red candle. This wick down here is just way too big. So it needs to be a strong candle in the direction of momentum, which will need to be a red candle, but it'll also need to be strong as well. So I think we had news here at 5:30, and that was about it, right? We had news here at 5:30, and then we have news at 7:30. So 5:30, 7:30. Go here and mark up opening price. We had news here at 5:30. All right, if this closes here, this is going to be the breakout. All right, so this is the breakout right here. I'm in it already. Let's see how far it goes down. One thing you want to be careful for is that there's an area of liquidity below here, but I think other than that, I think that's the only thing really to look out for. Currently in the position, currently in profit. I'll probably just move my stop loss in profit, trail it down as it moves further. But other than that, see if there's anything else here. See, yeah, my stop loss was too close. I actually got stopped out early. If I hit my stop loss, well, it already hit my stop loss earlier, so maybe it was a good thing my stop loss was closer. So unfortunately, I hit stop loss on this one here. Typically, I usually go for the small push for like 100 pips. I would have pulled out and would have made profit, but unfortunately, I did try to go for the full move today, and I hit stop loss. I'm not sure what caused the push like that. Let me check. And my stop loss was at 3,000 pips, so that's an unusual spike. Let's see. So the fundamentals were down. Fundamentals were down 100 points. So the main problem that I would see here is that the retail sentiment wasn't very strong. So I just felt a little confident about the move. That's why I took it. But the sentiment here wasn't as strong as it needs to be. Typically, this needs to be 60 to 65%. This whole week, it hasn't been very strong. So that's why I kind of just took it in that direction. Also, the unemployment news this morning was negative. So I kind of figured it was going to come down. It's all right. It's all good. It happens. So that's probably my first loss I've had in a long time now. Um, yeah, I don't know what caused it to go up like that. It just seems like a lot of manipulation going on right here. Uh, it seemed like it should have been a good move. The only thing that I can really anticipate, like, or could kind of see why it pushed up like that was because price was overextended. Price was like super far below and it needed to retrace, but I didn't expect it to really, push up like this for no specific reason. Also because the news here was negative. News price was like way up here. There's no sessions below this point. Um, it's just an unlucky day. Unless anyone has any other analysis to put in. I don't see anything myself. What would cause it to spike up like this hard? Because it was literally down here. And then the spike up right here happened. This is a big push. Like in 1 minute, price pushed 1,600 pips in the opposite direction. So unfortunately, we took a loss there. It's going to be counted as a loss, of course. I'm going to go and post the loss here in the group, just to be 100% transparent with you guys. Here, let's see. Fortunately, breakout hit stop loss today. First loss in a while. First loss in a while. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was a weird push right there. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, and there was some slippage on my end too. Here, I'll take a screenshot. I've had some trades from last night as well. So I will be putting that over here. And I'm going to show you guys because I do lose sometimes. So make sure that you guys can see here that I do lose sometimes. I'm not 100% every single day. I mean, most of the time I am, but let me just show you guys here. So I did take a fat loss on there. Thankfully, it's spread across all my accounts and not just one account. And then I did take a loss last night too. Maybe that was a hint that I probably should have just sat out the day today. I took a loss yesterday, but I also had a win, so it balanced out. I didn't necessarily take a full loss because I had wins and losses, so it balanced out to break even. But yeah, so here I'm just gonna post sheet. I'm sure with my loss with you guys to show you guys that it's okay to lose, guys. The losses happen here and there. I don't know why that chart's not coming up. All right. So there goes my loss right there. To show you guys, there's a V3 that came up right here, but it was right at the session, so I wouldn't have taken it. I wouldn't be surprised if price comes back down, right? This is, I do expect it to come back down, probably back to open. Maybe throughout the session, I'll probably just take a bunch of these, speculative pushes that I could kind of anticipate for price to come back to open over here, just to recoup some of my losses. But obviously I'm going to be a bit careful with these entries here. So I just took one right there. The reason I took a sell here is because I saw the bounce off this, and then I expected it to come back down to open right there, just like I mentioned to you guys shortly. Yeah, I don't recommend you guys taking any of these trades here. If you don't know what you're doing, this would be considered revenge trading. I guess I'm kind of revenge trading, but I could kind of anticipate where price is going to go because we do have a bias here for sell, and price just got manipulated to the upside. Now it's coming back down. Now at this point, I see price coming down, testing opening price right here. After this, price will do one of two things. Once price reaches that point, it's either going to bounce off it or it's going to come back down and push further to where it's supposed to go. My guess is that it's going to push further and it's going to continue dropping, even more because, I already saw this as a manipulated push to the upside because we do expect it to come back down. So my guess is that price is going to come back and retest this low over here. And then if it breaks below, it's going to drop even further. But there's just a lot of areas of manipulation here. I guess for that breakout, if I took it for 100 pips, I wouldn't have had a loss, but it's okay. Sometimes, I'll take the bigger risk and I will continue going. So let me see if there's anything else over here real quick. All right, let's see where we're at. So I'll take a screenshot of that little push that I took there. It just softened up that loss a little bit. Thankfully, it was a quick little push. So even though I'm in some drawdown right now, I can easily come back if I really, really wanted to. I'm just gonna wait for any, possible entries. My bias is still for a sell though, so I'm gonna look to see if there's any liquidity pushes in that direction. I have a tight stop loss, so my stop loss is only 200 pips. So if I do end up getting caught, I'll get kicked out early. I should have did that earlier for the. What happened was when I was in the breakout, I thought price was going to bounce back, so I ended up moving it. I had it at 300 pips, but I moved it back about 100 extra pips, and then I ended up losing an extra 1,000, which I shouldn't have done. Anyways, we're still looking for some entries here. Price is right at the opening price. 1 second, guys. Man, these allergies. 180. Okay, so let me just give you guys a little update here off the and there you go. Its price drops lower. I expect price to drop because it was supposed to drop. This push up was like uncalled for. I didn't expect price to push up like this. So price is dropping just like we anticipated. It's probably going to drop and test the next that low right there. If it breaks past the low and closes, I think it's going to continue dropping even further because it's supposed to be down. It's just, I don't know. It happens. Anyways, looking over here at my profits that I just posted. So I just reposted some of the trade that I just took right now. I recouped some of my losses right there. I locked in 1,000 profit. My second account locked in 1,035. My MFF locked in 1,090. Second MFF 1,090, and my third MFF as well 1,090. So I recouped some of my losses right there. I was negative 4,000. I'm now negative 3,000. So if I see anything good along the way, I'll just keep, taking quick scalps and then trying to recoup some of my trades along the push because I do think price is going to push down to maybe this area right here. So see where it goes. But other than that, I might just sit tight because the market is moving kind of weird today with that manipulation right here at the beginning. It's kind of like pushing me away from wanting to enter any more trades unless I see something good here. Let's see if like liquidity gets built up around the bottom, because if it does, then it's going to be easy for us to take more trades, in that direction. Otherwise, I'll just cut my losses for the day and then pick back up tomorrow. But we'll see. I think the next push right here will probably be to this little area right here. But if not, I'm just going to sit out because the market is moving kind of weird. If you guys can see here, it's not really moving smoothly at all. So let me just close some of these right now. Whoops, deleted the wrong thing. There you go. Yeah, and as you guys can see over here, it's just bouncing back and forth. So let's see if I'm missing anything over here. Yeah, it's probably a good idea not to revenge trade right now, unless you guys see something good. So looking down over here, there's Measure this. No, this would not be an area of liquidity. It's too wide. So there's two lows right here, but I wouldn't consider an area of liquidity. Let me just delete this stuff here. And we'll follow along to see if it starts to move a bit smoother. But if not, I think we're better off just protecting our capital until tomorrow. So let's see. Todi said many times during London, there is smooth and nice moves. On New York, the opposite, total mess. I can't say I agree with you. Just because it happens once doesn't mean it happens every time, because the other days it's been pretty smooth during New York. And it's actually been really choppy during London. So it happens. I mean, there's going to be different market conditions for different days. Unemployment news was released this morning. That's the reason why it's been moving choppy. It's high impact news. But it's not always like that. The reason why it seems smoother during London is because the market's not open. Price is just moving in a direction. But during New York, sometimes if there's like high impact news, then yeah, it's going to move kind of choppy. So I can't say I agree with that 100%, but it does happen. There's going to be some days where it's choppier for other sessions, some days where it's not. Yeah, exactly. So Sam over here said, I think it's choppy because of the 50-50 bias. Yeah, exactly. So we don't really have retail sentiment here. I kind of made the mistake today by taking the breakout. I typically don't take the breakout unless there's a strong bias here, but I did take it because I felt confident. I don't know why I felt confident today. Usually I'm pretty conservative, but today I just took the trade. And I didn't end up coming up. It just ended up spiking the other way. So typically here, I even skipped a step. So here's the thing. For the confirmed bias, this is what me and Sam are talking about. The second step right here, confirmed bias, right? Retail sentiment was not there. So this wouldn't have been met. It's optional, but highly recommended. Typically, I would skip it, but for today, I took it. Unfortunately, I took a loss. But it happens, It's just you can't really let it affect you. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else here that I am missing here. Nice. So Kevin said he took another position to cover his current drawdown, and he's in profit, so that's good. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Nice. Purities hit TP2. Yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to chill out for a little bit here because you can see price is not really moving directional. Here, I'll go here to the clean chart. This is the 1 minute clean chart. I'm going to mark up the liquidity and I'm going to show you guys how price has been moving today so far, so that you guys can have an understanding as to why I don't really see it moving very smoothly. We had news here at 5:30, which was, oh, whoops, this 3-minute chart. All right, we got that marked up there. Mark up the news price, which was there. Mark up opening price, which was right there. Mark up opening candle, 6:30. think news is at 7:30, right? Yeah, news is right here at 7:30. So as you guys can see right here, market opened right here at 6:30. As soon as market opened, price dropped a little bit, and then it pushed up, and then it came back down, and it pushed back up. So its price is just ranging between this high and this low right here. And then you can see that it's getting tighter between this high and this low right here. So price is just pretty much squeezing. It's going down, going up, going down, going up, etc. As it goes sideways. So there's no clear direction at all. It's just going sideways right now. The reason why we get this choppiness here is because there's no sentiment. Like typically you want sentiment here to be 60 to 65% or more, because then you'll know which direction price is going. Right here, it's 53.47. So it's pretty much neutral. There's no clear direction. The only thing that we can really look at is going to be the fundamentals over here, which are not very strong either. It's below 100 points. Looking over here at the heat map, if I refresh this, you guys can see here that it's a mixed bag. It's not all red or it's not all green, right? So realistically, that breakup that we took earlier, that was my mistake. So you know what happens, even though I'm familiar with everything and I'm confident with the trades that I take, I make mistakes as well. So if you look at this here, that breakout is actually not a good trade to take because there was no bias here. The fundamentals were not very strong. I know they were below 100 points at the time of entry, but they weren't very strong. Also looking over here at the heat map, there's half red, half green. So my price keeps going back and forth. So, if I didn't rush it and I just would have waited a little bit, I could have skipped that breakout, but it's okay. Cause the thing is, you live and you learn, right? You make mistakes and then you learn from the mistakes so you don't make them again in the future. The good thing about my losses here is that it's not very much because I did recoup the loss there slightly. So, I mean, a 3,000 loss is it's not a big thing for me because yes, like if, yesterday's profits, I locked in 1,000. The day before that, I locked in another 2,000. So I'm still in profit for the week. So if you add yesterday's profit 1,000 and the day before that 2,500, and then the day before that another 1,000, I'm still in profit like $1,000. So I did have a loss today, but it's okay because that's the key thing, guys. And the day before that even more, right? I was up to 2,000. So I'm actually still up overall. It's just, the thing that you guys got to keep in mind is that when you guys do take losses like this, you have to understand when to stop. A lot of people don't know when to stop trading, so they end up blowing more than they need to. So this right here is where price is currently at. It's currently at the news price. And at this point, price is coming back down from here. So let's see. Josh said that, so he said that he saw the push up because of this 1 hour triangle right here. Wait a minute. Yeah, so I guess this is where he marked it up. Let me see if I can find it here. I go like on the bigger chart. So what Josh drew right there was a triangle. Basically, trying to see where he drew it from. Oh, I can see it right here. Okay. Or I don't know if it so here's the thing with this right here. Price can actually come down and touch the wick there. Let me see how you drew it. So you're drawing it from the body. Okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah, I don't know where you drew the triangle from. I don't know if it's from this one right here. But anyways, this is just analysis from Josh. He's like one of our members here at K2. If you guys are in the chat, you guys can see. Josh mentioned. So the thing with this though is that, yeah, I guess I could see it here. I personally, I don't know. For me personally, I kind of see this as subjective. Everyone sees things differently, but the way that I see, it kind of looks subjective to me because it doesn't really line up that well. But I could see the triangle that you drew. Because the thing is, if you were to line up with this, it would have cut through all of this right here. So I don't really like drawing technicals or like these patterns because I feel like when I draw these patterns, you can kind of draw it to see what you want to see, right? But I mean, it makes sense. There was a triangle there, but I feel like I could change this as much as possible to make it fit for what I was looking for. Like if I needed a reason, I could just draw it however I wanted to make it seem like, okay, that's why it balanced right here. Yeah, Kevin said that triangle shows me price should go down because it broke out of the triangle to the downside based on his example. Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too with your analysis here, Josh. Because like, for example, right here, if you had this triangle here, the thing that I'm kind of confused with is because your triangle here, you're not incorporating these bodies, you're not incorporating these wicks, you're kind of just letting the bodies break through it. If this was the case, then this wouldn't be a top triangle anymore because you have to incorporate these bodies right here. Also with like the bottom triangle here does make sense. I could see this because you can see this body connecting to this body. However, with the triangle pushing below, this looks like it should have continued dropping, not bouncing above. So, I mean, I don't know. Everyone has a different analysis. This is why I don't teach this stuff to you guys because this is very subjective. Like what I see could be completely different from like what Josh sees. For me, whatever I teach and whatever I apply, it's all like it's stuff that you can't. It's not subjective at all. Like for example, here on the breakout, if there's an entry or not, or if there's a V3 or not. You can't say, okay, there's no V3 there because of this, that, or the other. There's a V3 there for a specific reason. But yeah, I mean, your analysis is fine, Josh. It's just it's a little confusing for me specifically because there's just a lot of things here that kind of confuse me with the triangle up here, and then this just looks like it should have came down, but it's all right. There's analysis for everything. Anyways, back to US30 over here. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin said I don't use those type of technicals either because they fail on US30. US30 is too manipulated and sporadic for those types of technicals to work consistently. Yeah, I see those type of technicals like with Josh here to work really well with forex because forex is a ranging asset. It goes back and forth over and over again. For US30, if there's a little news event that happens, it can just break through and it can just spike through anything. And that's kind of why this thing looks kind of messy here because this was probably just a random spike. It should have just lined up perfectly, but it was a random spike. Anyways, back to the charts over here. It's right at the session, so there's nothing for us to take. It's right at the sessions and news price. It looks like it did hit this area of liquidity right here. I'll go ahead and update this. Delete that, and delete that. So price is now bouncing around this area. You can see here on the clean chart, price is it's now just ranging around this area. So 1 minute. See if there's anything else here that I might be missing. Yeah, no, I agree with you too, Kevin. Yeah, and I agree too, Kevin, with what you said above. Kevin said, I think this push up in price are people buying the dip. And I could see that too, because price was overextended, just like I mentioned earlier. Price is pretty much pushing like super far down. When market opened right here at 6:30, I could already tell that people are trying to, AKA buy the dip because it was at 6:30 literally. And then they bought the dip and it came back down. And now it's pushing back up because people are continuing to buy the dip later. But yeah, other than that, we got to go back to the basics, right? I need to confirm retail sentiment here. Until this goes higher to like 60 to 65%, I'm probably going to chill out for like the rest of the week. I will be looking for trades if I see something good, but I think for the most part, I need to wait for an actual bias in the market because I can't again skip a step and make the same mistake of entering a risky trade here. Let me see if I can refresh this real quick. All right, so this isn't refreshing right now. I'll come back to it later. But yeah, basically any entries here that we take for US30, we would need a, I was looking for, sorry guys, 1 second. Yeah, I already missed the move for GJ. I was trying to take one of the intraday trades here. So let's see, GJ is currently GJ, EJ, UJ, okay. So that never closed. See how far of a push this is right here. Pretty big push. So we'll wait for it to pull back a little bit. So buy limit there and I'll follow it later. Anyways, back to and this is for the intraday strategy. I'm just gonna let it pull back a little bit and then fill. Unless I see anything here for USD JPY. It's not closing. Let's check this real quick. Yeah, I think those are the only pairs that are kind of heavy. Our JPY looks like a buy. Which hasn't come up yet. All right. So other than that, I think that's it for right now. Let me see if there's anything else here on the 10-minute. So looking over here at the 10-minute, there's no other entries that are really coming up at all right now. It's below. Yeah, so there's nothing going on over here on the 10-minute. There's also nothing going on here on the 1-minute. Price is just bouncing around the sessions and news price right there. Let me just give a little update here regarding this. So I'll check the profits that you guys sent in. Looks like some of you guys here actually pulled out of that breakout earlier. So you guys actually locked in some profit off that. So going over here real quick, scrolling down. I don't know why this screenshot didn't work. It shows up here, but it doesn't show up on the markup here. Anyways, just scrolling down real quick. Let's see. This new mouse is kind of weird. Oh, it's over here. Okay, so over here, looks like Harry took the breakout earlier, but he pulled out early. He only went for 100 pips. He locked in a total of 990. Nice work, Harry. Looking over here at Purity, she locked in a total of 132. Nice work, Purity. She was trading gold and US30. Yeah, so she took the breakout and she got out early at 100 pips. Scotty over here as well took the breakout earlier. He locked in some profit, then rode it to the upside. Total profit of 1,054 for the day. Nice work, Scotty. Vincent over here as well. He took the breakout. It looks like a lot of you guys here did take the breakout that we took earlier, but a lot of you guys pulled out earlier. I should have pulled out earlier too, because the sentiment wasn't strong. If the sentiment was strong, I would have held it for the full move. But Vincent over here took the breakout as well, locked in a total of 769. Nice work, Vincent. Looking over here at let's see. So Deswell is asking, Sean, I have a question for funded accounts. Let's say you're a funded trader. You have been trading for almost a month. You're in profit 10K. You make a mistake on your lot size and your trade goes to drawdown over the limit, but goes into profit. Do they still pay you? No, they don't. You still violated a requirement there. Now you have violated the account and lost it. So no problem. Requirements still in place. Yeah, so no, they still would take your account away. So Patricia said, other account don't like how the market's moving right now. So Patricia also took the breakout this morning. And she locked in some profit. She got out early. So she locked in a total of 1,680. Nice work, Patricia. Her second account over here, she locked in a total of 1,707. Nice work right there too, Patricia. So good profits for you guys here who pulled out of your trades early from the breakout. I probably should have pulled out early too, or I probably should have just went for 100 pips, but it's okay. I took the risk and I took the loss, so it is what it is. So let's see. Yeah, Mel's on over here as well. He took a loss on the breakout too, but it's okay. It happened, and he had a small little recovery when there, just like I did. So it's all good. It happens. If you guys are going to trade, I would be careful. Make sure that you guys are only taking trades, or I would wait for some sort of bias to present itself, because there's really no bias in the market. This thing isn't even, it's 50-50. So until this moves like one direction or the other, you really don't have a direction to trade in. What you could still do is you can still take liquidity pushes in either direction. I think these liquidity pushes actually work very well in a uncertain market like this, because you can literally take liquidity pushes in both directions. So that's basically what I was doing. Where's my finger? I didn't do it today, but I was doing it before. So if, I'll probably eventually I'll create a video for the liquidity pushes, maybe for the more advanced traders, because the thing is, when the market is, it doesn't matter like what condition the market is in, we still have strategies that work in all conditions. Like the liquidity pushes work very well during a heavy bias market, but it also works very well during a neutral market, because when the market's neutral, you get a lot of back and forth movement. So you get a lot of, let's see, how far is this over here? You get a lot of times where price will go back and forth. Like, so for example, right here, I'm just going to show you one quick example right here. So you know how we were looking for a sell? There was an area of liquidity right here, right? There's an area of liquidity. So even though we were looking for a sell, you could have still taken this for a quick 100 pips, right? It would have went way past your TP, even though we were looking for a sell. So the thing with these liquidity pushes is you can technically still take them in both directions. It's a strategy that works both ways. It's not one that's for beginners, but you can literally take them both ways. Like, for example, again, right here. So say we were looking for a buy right there, right? And then now say we're looking for a sell, right? Because we have liquidity right here. And if you guys aren't familiar with this, just watch the last live mentoring session. There's another area of liquidity that you can take right here, another sell for just 100 pips or so. You let that run and full TP. So you can see that there's liquidity pushes in both directions. They both would have hit, whether you took a buy or a sell. That's basically similar to like what Kevin is doing. That's why Kevin has been, locking in both profits in both directions. So that might be something to take a look at. So unfortunately, we're not going to have any variation entries. If you guys are looking for a variation, none of them are going to apply. The reason for that is because if you look at the requirements for the variation, you need to confirm the overall bias, right? This is variation V1. There's no overall bias. So you can't take a variation V1, variation V2, same thing, confirm overall bias. You can't take any V2s, V3, confirm overall bias. Neither of them will apply here. So the only strategies that you can really take are going to be speculative pushes for these liquidity. But other than that, it's there's not really much for us to take right now. So let me scroll up real quick and see what else am I missing. So you see Sam said gold looks tempting, Sean. I'll probably take a look at gold and I'll see. Kenny said I might just sit out the market. Smart idea, Kenny. I think I'm going to sit out the market too. I might just take my loss for the day and then just come back when the market's actually moving smoother. Unless I see liquidity pushes. If I see a liquidity push, I might just keep stacking on these liquidity pushes to make a quick little recovery if possible. If not, then it's all good. I'll just sit out the market until some sort of bias comes into the picture. Other than that, scrolling down, Jason's asking, hey, Sean, do you suggest I get 100K or 100K counts? I mean, I would say it's a personal preference, Jason. I mean, if you're like, I would get 200K counts, like for me specifically, but for you, if you're not, so if you're comfortable with trading at 200K, then just do a 200K. You can take smaller lot sizes. If you're not comfortable with that much profit or that much drawdown, then the 100K will work best for you. You can use a smaller lot size on 2 different accounts. So it doesn't really make a difference. It's really up to personal preference, because if you're okay with taking bigger lot sizes, then I would just use one account. If you're not okay with it, then use a smaller accounts. And then once you're comfortable, you can always merge them later. So it's really up to personal preference, but you got to figure out like what works for you. Because for me, I'm already comfortable with 200K. I don't trade anything lower than that. So I'm okay with using, the bigger lot sizes and seeing the bigger profits and the bigger drawdown. It's all normal to me. So yeah, I guess what you should do is probably just maybe trade on a demo first. If the 200K, if you're not doing well, because you get nervous because of the profits and drawdown, then just stick with the 100Ks. And then you can always change from that point. All right, anyways, price is coming right back down to open right here. I think Rick said he caught that. Yeah, Rick said I rode this all the way up. Now, hopefully all the way to back to open, which it did right here. So it did play out pretty well. Nice. Yeah, Rick said he made 3K up, now 4K down. Yeah, and this is exactly why we don't know where price is going, right? Because our bias was to sell this morning and price was manipulated to the upside and then it came back down and then it got manipulated again. And then here it is back down again. This is why like I'm sitting out the market, because it's like crazy how it's moving. There's no clear direction. There's no real way to identify, where it's going realistically. So I would wait for some sort of bias in the market. One thing that I would note is that there is liquidity right here now. So there's liquidity building up right there, which it'll probably drop even further. Let's see if I could maybe recoup quick profit here. So liquidity is right there. Let's see, and I took it, so locked in another 1,000 right there. So I recouped a little more of a win right there. So I now I'm down like a little less. I'm down 2,000 now. So this is what I'm saying, guys. If you guys can find liquidity like this, you can go for a quick 100 pips, and then you'll be good. It'll be solid. But you can get greedy for these liquidity pushes. As I was mentioning, this isn't for beginners. This is something that you need to get in and out of really quickly. I entered that for a quick 100 pips. As you can see right here, I entered a market sell, hit my stop loss right there, pulled out. At this point, I'm taking really risky trades, and I should probably not take any more trades. My drawdown now is not as heavy. It's only down to like 2,000. It was down at 4,000 earlier, and then I took the win right there, so it's down to 3,000. I took another win, so it's now down to 2,500. So I think that's solid right there. I mean, I'll keep watching for any possible areas of liquidity that we can possibly hop into, but I think right now I'm still going to be a bit careful with these entries over here. David is asking, Sean, 100 pips is 10 pips in TV and 100,000 in. Okay, so here's like where the confusion is. So David, on TradingView over here, they're not pips, they're points. So that's why they're 10. So like 1 point is equal to 10 pips. 1 point is equal to 100 ticks. So in TradingView, it's 10 because it's 10 points. In FTMO, it's 1,000 because it's ticks. So yeah, because these aren't pips right here. Yeah, David said, I know you're saying 100. Yeah, 100 pips because these are 10 points. 10 times 10 equals 100, right? So that's going to be 100 pips. So like this, what we just marked up right here, what I was showing you. See how it says 10 there? That's 10 points. 10 times 10 equals 100. So that means 100 pips because each point is worth 10 pips. FTMO is 1,000 because they're in ticks. So they're different. They're like totally different things. But it's easy to understand like how they are because you just multiply it by 10. So if you have 1 point, multiply it by 10, that's 10 pips. You have 10 pips, you multiply it by another 10, that's sorry, they just threw me off again right there. Here, I'll just put it on the chart over here so that you guys can see. Okay, so 1 point equals 100 pips, right? 1 point equals 1,000 ticks. TMO. That makes sense, David. So that's how you would understand. These are points here because this is futures data. It's currency.com. This isn't the forex pair. This is futures. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense for you right there. Anyways, back to Professor said calling it a day. Yeah, probably a good decision. I'm probably going to call it a day too, guys. I took the quick win right there, and then I'm probably just going to sit it out and see. Unless I see any other areas of liquidity that I can possibly, hop into. Let's see, Kevin said I took over a 10K loss on my FTMO account, but I just revenge traded and got all my profit back. I know I shouldn't have done that, but I'm confident in what I'm doing. So Kevin, if you took over a 10K loss on your FTMO, but you had profit from the day before, right? So if you had profit from the day before, like Asia session, then you should be fine. But 10K is typically what your max drawdown is going to be for FTMO if you didn't have any profit. But I'm assuming you had profit from yesterday, so I think you should be fine. But yeah, so you did have profits, you're good. Okay, so you're fine. Yeah, you didn't hit your daily loss. You should be perfectly fine with that loss that you ate, and then the recovery should be okay too. Thanks, Peter. Peter said in 40 minutes, press briefing by White House COVID-19 response team, public health officials. So thanks, Peter, for that. Looks like we do have a news event coming up in about 40 minutes, which is okay because we'll be done with our live by then at 8 o'clock. So it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on today. I'd probably just sit it out after the live because the COVID team is going to be discussing. I know we haven't been talking about COVID that much, but the COVID numbers are up again. I've been talking to like people who work in the hospital, and the COVID numbers are going up. So that's why they're having a press conference here to discuss. I think they're thinking about bringing masks back, the mask mandate, which is pretty crazy, in my opinion. I don't know if people are going to listen to it because people are so used to not wearing masks, and then we're entering summer. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, John said Rona isn't going away like everyone hopes. I just got my second booster shot. Yeah, I haven't even got my second booster shot, but it is coming back. So we'll see. I mean, I'll probably look at the highlights later after they're done speaking, but they're probably going to be discussing the possibility of bringing mandates back, which is, I mean, it's beyond me how they're going to enforce that. I don't think people are going to listen, especially because of the all of the conspiracy going on. It seems kind of crazy how that happens, right? Like last year, COVID was like the big thing, and then the Ukraine war came up, and then all of a sudden nobody talked about COVID or the Ukraine war, and then now we're talking about the recession. All of a sudden, COVID is coming back. Not that it ever left, but you know, it's like propaganda in the market. It's crazy. There's always something going on. I feel that like the world is never just chilling. There's always something going on. Yeah, Peter said they're going to create a panic and enforce mail and voting fraud, aka fraud. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but that's why I stay out of politics altogether. I stay in my own lane. I just trade. As long as it doesn't affect my trading too much, then I'm good. I mean, it actually helps our trading because when stuff like that happens in the market, it creates volatility and it creates bias in the market. So I'm waiting for the recession to come out. I'm ready for it. Because when the recession comes, we're going to make a lot of profit from trading because there's going to be such a strong bias in the market. So when people are buying the dip, I'm going to be selling the recession, and we'll be making profits that way. Anyways, there's nothing for us to take here at the moment, guys. I'm looking over here at the chart so far. There is, so there was technically a V1 right here, but it was right at the sessions. So not one that I would have taken. Looks like it would have hit CP though. So there's a V1 right there. Another reason why there wouldn't be a V1 is because there's no overall bias. So again, the main requirement for, I mean, basically all the strategies that we apply here require that we have to confirm the overall bias. Again, there's no overall bias here. Looking at sentiment, it's 50-50, or it's 53-47 now. Still neutral. The fundamentals are currently, they're down 98 points. They need to be down 100 and consistently below that. Heat map over here is currently mixed. Looking at the actual stock index over here, stock index is, this thing's not loading. Stock index right here is pretty much split in half, half red, half green. Yeah, Kevin said the candles are so small. Yeah, the candles aren't even really moving that much. So I think it's preparing for a breakout. So at 7:30, let me see what the news is going to be. Natural gas storage. So we'll see how that affects the, man, GJ hasn't moved at all. I'm just going to close this, guys. I don't like how the market's moving right now. So I was going to enter a buy there for GJ, but it's like not even moving at all. So I'll leave that alone for now. But yeah, looking over here at the US30 chart, it's not really moving very much. It's just ranging now between these points. You can see prices now back to, all right, so 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. So, all right. So looking over here at the chart, you can see market opened here, it pushed up, now it came back down. It's just ranging. So pretty much price is just going back and forth between this area and this area right here. So you can see the back and forth movement just goes sideways, up, down, sideways. Not really too much going on there. Other than that, yeah, Patricia said, honestly, I think market is wacky in anticipation of CPI tomorrow. So yeah, just a reminder, tomorrow we have inflation news. So I think price is going to keep going back and forth. It's just going to move back and forth until we have inflation news tomorrow. Inflation is obviously going to be very high. I don't know how high, but it's going to be high. It's not going to be good for the economy. So if you tie unemployment claims right here with the inflation news, which is probably going to be negative as well. Okay, so like looking at this right here, it was previously 0.3 and 0.6. They're anticipating it to be higher, 0.7 for CPI over here. So I think this is going to be, I mean, obviously it's going to be negative if it does play out. A higher number, yeah. If that happens and it plays out a higher number, then I'm expecting the inflation news to be negative. So this is going to be pre-market. It's probably going to throw off the direction. And then when that happens, I think prices are finally going to make it drop back down. Here, let me go over here to the, yeah, you could actually see here on the 1 hour. So here on the 1 hour, it's easier to see. You can see that price is already making a shift to the downside, right? So you can see here that price is making its way below the pivots, so that by tomorrow, it's probably going to drop even further. And from there, I think we have liquidity sitting below. All right, so as you guys can see, there's a lot of liquidity sitting right here below. So I think probably by tomorrow, when the inflation news comes out, it's going to drop price even lower because we already have negative news here for unemployment claims. Unemployment claims are up. So there's a lot of people who are on unemployment. With the inflation news right here, it's not going to be good for the economy. So it's just going to drop prices even further. So yeah, even though market is moving kind of wacky today, I could expect it to possibly drop by tomorrow. So we'll see if we have a bias by then. But currently right now, there's really no price movement. If you look at how small price is moving, it's barely moving like 300 pips, which is nothing. Let me scroll up real quick and see what else I missed. Yeah, Jonathan said, just like in 2020 when all we did was sell, LOL. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can see that too. Ogun said, I never got vaccinated. I suspect I had COVID with mild symptoms. I recovered after a week and a half by using holistic methods. I wasn't going to let them bully me or shame me into injecting something into my body that I would regret later. Yeah, I mean, here in the US, it's like you needed to get vaccinated to like do anything. So I think that's the reason why a lot of people got vaccinated, including myself. I only took the first shot and I think maybe the booster, but actually, I think I just took the first shot. Yeah, because the thing is, you can't really do anything here in California unless you were vaccinated. But the thing is, well, the thing that blows my mind is like the way that they verify that you're vaccinated. You can make copies of that stuff. It's really simple. So the I don't know. The whole system's kind of screwed. There's no way to really verify if someone's really vaccinated or not. You know, that little card, anyone can make a copy of that card. or like anyone with a digital copy, you can just Photoshop it. Yeah, I know, but I Photoshop mine. John, it's easy to Photoshop. Like last year, I went to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios. I forgot my vaccination card. So like you can literally just go on Snapchat and you can change the name. You can just draw over the name and then put your name on there. Um, no, they're not really strict on it. But I am vaccinated, so it's just I used a different one just to get into the park. But it's easy to like to forge. Anyways, back to what I was saying over here. So Leslie's asking, hey Sean, can you take a snipe on a momentum candle? Yes, you can. So I don't know if you saw, you probably saw one over here pending on a 10-minute. So the strategy that Wesley was talking about was the snipe entry right here. The only problem with this is that you also have to confirm the overall bias. Pretty much every strategy that we apply, you have to confirm the overall bias, and you're not going to be able to do that because there is no overall bias right now. Retail sentiment isn't in one direction or the other. It's just right down the middle. In order to confirm overall bias, you need to have retail sentiment either 60 to 65% or more, in one direction. So yeah, unfortunately not available, but yes, if you did have an overall bias, you could have taken it on a momentum signal like that. All right, news just came out right now at 7:30. It was negative. Thanks, Fahad, for confirming that. So news right here at 7:30 was neutral. So, I mean, not neutral, it was negative, sorry. It was negative, so we'll see if price continues to swing back down, but there's not really much of a direction right now, guys. As you can see, there's price just going back and forth. The only thing that I'm personally looking for are these liquidity pushes. I don't see any areas of liquidity right now, so there's not really much for us to take, to begin with. I was kind of hoping that there would be more direction today because of the news. Since unemployment news came out, I was expecting price to likely be heavy for a sell or heavy for a buy, but today it just isn't. There's no bias at all. It's just going back and forth. So let's see if there's anything right here. Looks like some of you guys here made some profit. So looking over here for Kenny locked in, or Kenny didn't lock in. He lost the breakout, but then he recovered he recouped his losses right here. So nice work, Kenny, right here on your recovery. This is pretty good because you were down like 3K. Now you're only down like 1,500. So that's a nice recovery right there. Patrick over here sent in his profits as well. He took a loss on the breakout too, but he still locked in more profit over here. His recovery, total profit of 3,200 for the day. So great work right there, Patrick. Dell over here, he locked in a total profit of 1,194. Looks like he didn't take the breakout today, but he did ride these pushes to the upside. So great work right there, Dell. Rick over here as well. He took the push to the upside, locked in 2,460, and then he rode it back down to opening price for a total profit of 3,900. So total profit of about 6,000 right there. Well over 6,000, Rick. Nice work. Marcy over here, looks like she took a loss off the breakout, same as a lot of us did, but then she recovered and she made a total profit of 494 for the day. Nice recovery right there, Marcy. This is key, guys. So this is really key right here. If you guys can do this and recover after a loss, that's what matters. If you have like 2 back-to-back losses, it's probably time to just call it a day because there's no point in risking any more after you've already made back, or after you've lost like X amount of profits. So nice work right there, Marcy, with your recovery. Going over here to Patricia, she locked in a total of, see, it's currently pending right now. Let it load. I'm gonna go and mark up news price over here. Same with the News price right there. All right, so it looks like there's liquidity building up right there on the bottom. So prices come back below here. Maybe I could take that for a quick like 100 pips or so. Yeah, no, nice recovery on your end too, Rick. Rick said his 100K count was down 9,800. Now he's up 300. So definitely nice recovery there, Rick. It might be time for you to just call it a day at this point. It's getting close to 8 anyway, so I'm going to be logging off soon. And I'm probably just going to sit down. I'm going to see if I can maybe catch this right here just to recoup another bit of my losses. I'm currently at like 2,000. So if I have another one, I'll be down only 1,000 for the day. But overall for the week, I'm still up quite a bit. So there's no need for me to revenge trade. It's an iffy area to trade in as well, because price is right next to news price right here, which is the pink line. And then below right here, the session's right as well. So yeah, Rick said you're gonna hit that late market reversal. I could see that too. Hey, Purity. Yeah, if you're done too, Purity, I would just call it a day. I'm for the most part done for the day. If I see this push down to liquidity, then maybe I'll catch it for a quick 100 pips, just like the little push right here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna call it a day and I'll recoup my rest of the losses tomorrow. Let's see, Kevin over here sent in his profits as well. So nice work over here, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin took a big loss over here. He held on to the breakout for a long time, for like, an extended period. And then he recouped it down below. So he took that loss, but then he made it all back right here. Total profit of 8,120 for the day. Nice work, Kevin. Mills on over here. He took another win. So he took another 2 wins and he pretty much recouped most of his losses right there. So nice work, Mills on, with your recovery right there off your account. Other than that, let's see, Vincent over here as well. Yeah, this might be a sign to just call it a day, Vincent. When you have 2 losses like that, it's probably like, it's probably not a good sign to keep going, because at this point you might start revenge trading. Yeah, he was trying to get in at a liquidity push. I'm not sure which liquidity push you're trying to get in, Vincent, but at this point, I'll probably just call it a day. Let's see. So this is why these liquidity pushes are risky. You guys have to like really understand like when to enter these. Like for example, right here, I only enter them when like they're really close. Right here, these are super close, so I'll be looking to maybe catch, a quick little push there, but might not even happen. Let's see, it's 7:38 right now. All right. Let's see if Patricia sent me some more profits. So over here on this account, she locked in 3,079. Or it's the same thing. Okay. So she locked in 3,079 right here. She had a loss here earlier, and then she recouped those losses with these wins over here. So nice work right there, Patricia. Patricia is now back in profit. Question from Ed over here. Ed's asking, when you enter a liquidity push, what do you look for to trigger your entry? Liquidity, Ed. That's the whole point of the strategy. So Ed, I'm sure you're here on the live. I'm kind of confused with your question. I enter our liquidity is. So Ed, I know we had a discussion like yesterday or a couple of days ago. I think you're getting like way too ahead of yourself. But if you can't get the basic strategies down, don't move on to the liquidity. The liquidity is for like the more advanced traders. So, and this is just FY to like everybody here, not just Ed, but like everyone here. I know a lot of you guys see me and Kevin and a lot of other people make a lot of profit off these liquidity pushes. But if you guys can't get the bare basics down, don't move on to liquidity because liquidity is not meant for beginners. I enter at the same time every time for liquidity pushes, right? When price pushes down to this area of liquidity, that's where I enter the trade. That's why it's called a liquidity push because you're entering at liquidity. So if price was to come down right here, I mean, every time it comes down, I draw right enter from. I draw from the liquidity right there, the top area of liquidity or the closest area of liquidity because you're trying to catch it as it spikes right through it. Like again, right here, as price pushes lower, if price reaches this area of liquidity, then possibly I'll enter for a sell and then maybe try to catch a little bit of it, but I don't know if I'll be able to. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said, you really need to know what you're doing with the liquidity pushes because, or yeah, Patricia said, you really need to know what you're doing. Liquidity pushes should be the last thing you do. They're dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you 100%, Patricia, with that right there. So, oh man, I kind of missed it. I wasn't reading I wasn't looking at the chat. I'm probably gonna sit this out right here, guys, because this candle here was too big. So it's probably gonna have to retrace a little bit. So I'm probably just gonna sit it out. And then I'll just, I mean, I don't know, I might just call it a day. I missed the push right there. Yeah, I wouldn't touch the candle either. So the red flags still apply with like every strategy that you guys, decide to take. So whether it be a liquidity push, whether it be a variation, whether it be a snipe, whatever, anything, the thing that you want to be careful for is going to be these red flags here. One of the red flags here is that the candle here is too large. This red candle right here, it spiked down super heavy to where it was like 500 pips. Although it did hit TP right here, it's still what would be considered a risky move. I was really close to FOMOing in, but I didn't. So I probably could have entered a late entry. So like when it pulled back right here a little bit, I could have probably entered a quick little sell, and then there you go, back to open. The opening price. So literally all this noise that happened over here is kind of relevant because this is where price opened at, and now it's right back to where it was. So this is what I would be looking for now. If price ends up closing below this level over here, then I could expect a continued drop lower. Oh, nice. Sam said I caught it. I forgot I set a sell stop. Yeah, and that's like another way to do it too. If you want to like really take your guesswork out of it, you can just set a sell stop and then just catch it as it moves, versus having to enter, manually, obviously. Let's see if there's anything else here for me to look over. All right, guys, so it's 7:43 right now. I think at this point, I might just be calling it a day because I don't want you guys to FOMO into any trades. I also don't want to FOMO into trades myself because it's not going to be a good thing if you guys FOMO into something. So let me see if there's anything else here for me to look. Nice. So Vincent actually caught that liquidity push and he recovered from that other loss. So nice work right here, Vincent. Unfortunately, you took this one right here when you're trying to catch the other one and you took a loss. If you didn't take that, you would have been back in profit, unfortunately. But it's all good. I'm glad to see that you are making a decent recovery. Having negative 1,000 is not too bad. So at that point, I would probably just call it a day. Yeah, I should have just entered the GJ here on market. So GJ right here is pushing up. Mine did not fill. Unfortunately, I pulled it off. UJ right here is coming up as well. Now it's a big push. Yeah, it's too late to enter, GJ. I should have just entered right there at market, because if I entered at market, I would have been like, now I've been profit about like 40 pips right now. It's all good. Wacky market today in general, specifically US30. I mean, US30 is all over the place, but I wouldn't be surprised if like the forex pair starts to move a little funky too. So yeah, something to pay attention to right here on the 1 hour is basically when price, drops below. Other than that, this liquidity has already been broken. It's good. All right, so there's no more liquidity that's sitting over here now at the moment. We're basically just gonna have to wait for or anticipate some sort of liquidity to get built up. So like what I'd probably be looking for here is if price pushes slightly and then pushes back up from here, creating, another area of liquidity right there. And if we have that, price might push up even lower. I mean, it hasn't happened yet. There's no liquidity here, but I'm saying if this happens, price comes down, bounces up, creates liquidity, and pushes back up and comes down, then that would be the case. But right now, there is no area of liquidity to really identify. And then we also have the White House COVID briefing in the next 15 minutes. Yeah, they're coming up shortly. All right, let's see if there's any sentiment here that's changed. I don't think so. Doubt it. No, it's still at 53%, so not much of a change there. Vince is asking for liquidity sitting at 32,733 and 32,713. Would it be close enough for you to hop in? No. So this down here, I think this is what you're referring to, right? Yeah, this right here. This is like way too wide, Vince. I wouldn't take this. It's like 200 pips. Typically, you want it to be like less than that, like a little bit tighter. Like you want it to be like that, right? Where they're like right next to each other. This would be liquidity for me. Or vice versa if it was anywhere below that, like this. That's where I would want to be looking for it. This right here is just too wide, so it's not enough for me to hop in, because what might happen is this was what typically happens. Price will come down, it'll hit liquidity, or it'll come like slightly below it, and then it'll reverse back up. And then when it does that, it creates a tighter area of liquidity right here, right? And then when this is gone, it comes back down for another test, and it does the same thing. It's a little closer, and it spikes back up, right? At that point, liquidity is now where you want it to be, because now it's charged up for that breakout. So at that point, now liquidity is actually there for you to take. And it comes back down for the final test. That's where I would take the entry right there. So that's how these patterns typically play out. And I only know this because I see this every single day. Like you get a lot of fake outs, they'll just create new liquidity. And when it's actually close enough, that's where the breakout actually happens. So something to, obviously keep in mind. But all right, guys, it's 7:50 right now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping up this session for today. I did recoup a pretty decent amount of my losses for today. So I'm only down about maybe a 1,000 to a 2,000. Maybe closer to the 1,000 range. I'll take a screenshot of it in a little bit and I'll show you guys. But yeah, the key thing here, guys, is being smart and being persistent with your entries, right? don't revenge trade. Just be smart about your recovery trades. Don't take every single trade, but just make sure that you're taking one that you're like absolutely sure is going to hit. So wacky movement today in the market, which happens. I mean, there's going to be days like this where you'll get a lot of weird movement, and there'll be days where you'll have like really smooth movement. It's just you having the ability to adapt with the market. And if you're here in our live sessions, you should have no problem because I'm giving you guys the analysis myself. So yeah, from my perspective and from the way I see things, I think it's probably best to just sit out the rest of the market. For one, the White House is going to be speaking regarding COVID. That's going to be one thing that's going to be affecting the market. Also, tomorrow we have inflation news coming out as well. So I think that should be it, guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. But I think for the rest of the morning, you guys should probably just sit out the day, come back tomorrow fresh, and then we'll bounce back from this trading day as we wrap up the trading week. So yeah, I don't see any other questions here. Sorry, guys. I think that's going to be it for today. Just sit out the rest of the day and we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place for Friday, June 10th, as we close out the trading week. So other than that, guys, I'll see you guys then. Have a great rest of your day. And